Gina St. George, host of Laws of Marketing and Business Automation. How are you today?
I am having a great day, and I'm happy to be with you this evening.
I am happy to be with you. I always learn so much. What I always tell you guys out there is that this webcast is like basically getting a consultation worth $10,000. So get your notebooks out, take notes, engage, ask questions of Gina St. George, okay? Because it's not every day we get in front of an expert like you, Gina. It's such an honor to have you be one of our Laws of Life experts.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's for those of you tuning in, thank you so much for jumping on this live. We appreciate it. And any comments that you put in the live chat, I can pop onto the screen, make sure that Gina answers them. But Gina, why don't you take a minute and just remind the audience about your background?
Well, my background is that I have a degree in chemical engineer and an MBA, and I worked in industry for almost 20 years, 17 years. And I did a lot of really cool stuff. I did a lot of business process stuff. I did mergers and acquisitions work. And I traveled a lot, and I was away a lot, and I burned out, and my personal life blew up, and I decided I'd become a partner in a couple of small businesses. And when I arrived at those small businesses, I learned that small business owners often do not have good systems and structure, and they are overworked. So I became my first client, and I redesigned our processes, installed systems, automated things that I was able to. Today, one of those companies operates without my involvement in daily operations, and the other was sold in 2015 to a multinational company, and that was a really good day. So today, I help small business owners build thriving businesses while also having a life.
That's amazing. And what would you say are the top 3 services you provide to your customers?
The top 3 services is, it's actually, there's 5 parts to what I do really, because there's a cycle in growing a business. And it is, the first step is to plan. The second is to attract. So that's the marketing. The third is to sell. The fourth is to serve. So serve is now in your operations and how you take care of your clients. And then the fifth one is to retain your clients, get them to come back and get them to refer you more business. And then you go around that cycle again. So there's really 5 things that everything that I do falls under one of those 5 headings.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, today's topic, we're talking about lead magnets, which is one of my favorite topics. So let's jump right in. Why are lead magnets important?
Okay, so a lead magnet is important because this is part of attracting clients. When we talk about the cycle of business growth, lead magnets are important because you can build an audience of people who know who you are, but without having them give you their email address and building a list, you're never going to be able to nurture that relationship and be able to start working on selling things to the people who follow you. So the lead magnet is important because the lead magnet enables you to trade something of value for an email address. That's the trade they're doing. And so what they're buying from you, they're paying with their email address. So you may say that it's free, that you give it away, but really they're paying, and you have to sell it because you have to sell them on giving their email address. So that is what that is what a lead magnet is, that it enables people to go from being a follower to being on your actual list where you can nurture them as an actual prospect.
So what is your suggestion on how to create the lead magnet?
Well, so lead magnets can be a multitude of different things, but if you've never created one, the easiest thing to do to create a lead magnet is to have some kind of special report or white paper that people can read about something that they need to learn that falls under the category of what it is that you're ultimately offering. So if I were you, Blanca, my lead magnet would be on something of your expertise. Like you could write a lead magnet on the best practices for effective networking, because you're the goddess of networking. Aww. Everybody knows that. and you're building your networking, and so you could actually have a lead magnet that says these are the best practices for networking, and then you could begin nurturing people, and then maybe bring them into your network and make them paying clients of various different things. Now, I know you have your various ways of getting clients, and you have a really nice following, a nice audience with all these webcasts that you do. So you're doing a whole bunch of things right. But using you as an example, that's what I would do, because it's something that they came to you because they were interested in something related to what you have to offer. So you give them something for free, and that's they trade their email address. So the easiest thing to do is a PDF special report. But there's all kinds of things you can use as lead magnets. You can do a full-on ebook. You can do quizzes. You can do surveys. You can do assessments. There's people in financial services use assessments a lot, and lawyers oftentimes do as well. I know an estate planning attorney who has an assessment where he takes you through like basically the issues in your life, and basically saying these are the reasons why you need an estate plan, and so he has a report for you. So that's one way to use an assessment. But that's how you do it. But if you've never done it before and you don't want to worry about all the tech associated with doing some of these other strategies, then what I would recommend that you do is just write a special report on your topic.
I like that. So a special report on a topic that you're extremely comfortable with. And what are, when are there any other options that you would consider for the creation?
Well, I gave you a bunch of them that are commonly used that you have.
You have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite? Well, the most common and the easiest to get started with is the special report, which is why I mentioned that. But quizzes and assessments are really great also. So, say for example, you're somebody who teaches personality science to help people be more effective at sales. So maybe what you do is you give them a personality assessment, and in order for them to get the results of the questions that they just answered, they have to opt in and give their email address, and then their results will show up.
I love it. So after that lead magnet is rolled out, what comes next?
What comes next then is going to be nurturing your lead, because now you have their email address and now you can begin speaking to them. The very, very, very first thing you're going to do is deliver the thing that you promised them. So if it's a special report, you deliver the special report. And of course, there's automation to do that, where there's ways to make that PDF delivered automatically, or give them a link to the place where it's located online so they can download it. And then if it's an assessment or a quiz, then it would lead them to the results. If it's an ebook, it can also be delivered electronically. And so that's what comes next. And then after that, that's when you begin the conversation with your customer. And one of my mentors, Russell Brunson, calls this the soap opera sequence. So your first 5 emails after you have delivered your thing that you promised, is you want to get people used to opening and reading your emails.
That's true.
So you have a multi-part warm-up where you don't give them everything all at once, where a little bit over 5 days they learn a little bit, and they have to open the emails day after day.
One thing I notice about the email is the font of the email seems to me to be very important. If I get the feeling that the email's canned or not, it's just not created with authenticity, I don't read it. What's the deciding factor for you in reading someone's email?
Oh, that's an interesting one because, those of us who are knowledge seekers, people like you and me, we get a lot of email because we've opted into a lot of stuff, right?
That's true.
And yeah, so the biggest thing that gets people to open emails is the subject line. It has nothing to do with anything else that's inside it. The single most important thing is the subject line. So it needs to be something that makes them pause and say, "What? Wait, what?" And there's formulas for that. There's lots of copywriting formulas. So you would think that something as simple as the subject line of your email is, that's pretty straightforward. But that's actually, now you're getting into copywriting techniques right out of the gate. And so
that's an interesting point, copywriting. Where do you stand on that? Delegate or handle in-house?
I believe that no matter what the topic is, there is no substitute for learning it, because it is very difficult to delegate things that you don't understand. And good copywriters are really expensive. So when it comes to copywriting, I would say that should be on your short list of things that you should learn how to do. Or work with someone who can give you guidance on it, which is one of the things I do with my clients. So, if you were building a funnel with me, I would ask you a series of questions and you would give me the answers, and I would then formulate some proposed copy based on that, because there's ways to use what you're actually offering and the results that you're offering, and how to get the attention of your ideal client, what they're thinking about, what they worry about, what they hate, what they dream about. And when you start assessing those things, you're able to write better copy that is compelling for those people to read.
And tell us about your group, Dynamo Guru. How does someone join this group, and tell us a little bit about it?
Well, that group that you have up there on the screen is actually a free group. So you can actually just, you can search for that on Facebook. And the URL is also on the screen there, I see. So it's facebook.com/groups/Dynamo Guru. And what we do in that group is we talk about Dynamo business building using expert authority. So we use the business building cycle of plan, attract, sell, serve, and retain. So that's what we that's the training that is available in that group. Those are the things that I talk about. And I actually have a series beginning today where I will be doing various topics under those 5 headings to teach about business building.
That's incredible. So how does someone get involved with that?
They can just join the group. And that is actually a free group. And so they can join, and they can then gain access to the videos that are in that group.
That sounds amazing. So let me ask you this. Do you think that when someone's going through the lead magnet process, it's better to hire an expert to help them create the lead magnet and the funnels that go along with that, and the email and the copy? I mean, it's very overwhelming.
It can be, but if you hire somebody who understands enough about marketing plus the technology around funnel building, there's 2 halves to this, because there's so much said about oh, you need to subscribe to really good software to have your funnels work. And yes, automation is important, but the system is only a portion of the formula, because you actually need to know what you're offering and in what sequence you offer things, and you need to write copy, and you need to understand marketing. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people get stuck, that they think, oh, I'm just going to like open a subscription and that's going to be the answer to everything. And they don't understand the other things. But to answer your question, if you work with someone who is an expert on funnel building, then all of those things are going to come together, because they're not just going to do the technology for you. They're also going to help you with your messaging and your offer.
That's incredible.
So that's actually one of the things that I do with my clients. So funny, you should ask that question, Blanca.
I'm telling you, I'll tell you one thing. I am working with Gina St. George, and you guys know I'm in the marketing world, right? I'm obviously a content creator, social media strategist, website designer. But, the funnel, I do collaborate with Gina and working with Gina and relying on your expertise to see me through that funnel. And that funnel feels like a tunnel, because, like if I didn't have you to guide me through that, it would be pretty intimidating. And I have become technologically savvy, in recent times. Now, I think someone needs to be technologically savvy to do it themselves.
Well, there's a learning curve. However, doing this work has become so much easier with good pieces of software.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And
but I mean, there's still a learning curve, and if you're a technophobe, then maybe you just don't want to deal with that, and maybe you'd rather do the creative work and have somebody else do it. And the good news is that there are lots of people out there who can help you with the tech. Whether you work with a consultant who does like an all-in package that includes the marketing and the tech, or if you understand the marketing and you can build your messaging and your sequencing, and you just want someone to do the tech, there's people you can hire on Upwork and Fiverr and the like to do the tech.
I like it. And going to the next topic of nurturing, what do you think are the most important elements of the nurturing process?
Probably the most important part of nurturing is to be authentic and to be you, and to provide value. Because the last thing you want, and the quickest way to get people to unsubscribe from your list, is to be pitching constantly. So that is not what you do in your emails. If every email you send, you're pitching something, you're selling something, people are going to stop opening your emails, or even worse, they will unsubscribe. So my recommendation is to use the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your content is useful and helpful, and 20% of your content is making some kind of offer.
I like that. And I think that's one of the reasons people do like newsletters, because they're informational, educational. Mm-hmm. And then you can put, a discount code in the newsletter. You can put some purchasing options in the newsletter without. Mm-hmm. I think the 80-20 rule is a powerful rule. And what is segmenting?
Segmenting is, this happens at the time that somebody opts in. So you could, with your software, you can segment people by what special report they opted in with. So maybe you have a landing page that is just for one type of avatar. Mm-hmm. So say, for example, I work with a lot of professional services people. So I work with lawyers, financial services people, and realtors. So people who are providing a professional service, but then they're ultimately selling something that is not coaching. So maybe I might have a landing page that is only for lawyers. And if they're opting in on that page, they get tagged as a lawyer. Now they're on my lawyer list. But if they opt in for the report for real estate agents, they would get tagged as a real estate agent instead of as a lawyer. So now they're segmented. They're on different lists. So later, there may be some things where I talk to both of them generically the same way, but there may be times that I want to talk to realtors like realtors, and talking about the things that matter to realtors, the things that realtors worry about, the things that realtors want out of life, versus what a financial services person has as their goals and what they worry about.
Yeah.
So they're two different things. And if I'm segmenting at the time that they opt in, then I know who's who, and then later I can talk to them differently. That's what segmentation is.
At what point do you stop nurturing?
Never.
Real.
Never. Because there's always something of value that you can be. So when I talk about the 80-20 rule, the 80% where you're giving useful and helpful content versus pitching, that is nurturing.
Okay.
Whenever you're being helpful or useful, you are nurturing. You're continuing the relationship.
Okay, good. So in a way, this whole webcasting experience is nurturing because we're continuously delivering content to our viewers, to our followers. Is that a fair form of nurture?
Yes. Actually, what you're doing with these webcasts is two things. You're warming up a cold audience that showed up on your page. Now they actually see your content, and they have stuff to consume for free, even without opting in. And then later, hopefully, you will have a way to put them on your email list, and then you can continue the nurturing, giving them things that you don't give to people who are not on your list.
I like it. Well, that's true. I mean, I believe it or not, a lot of people that are watching the webcasts start coming to the networking group and start referring people. So people that I've never met will watch the show, and then they'll come to networking. So if just by sharing and doing watch parties on these webcasts that we are producing can benefit everybody. And we had an incredible networking group today, by the way. You really need to come next week.
Okay, I will.
So much better. So we broke down into breakout rooms, and we appointed a webcaster as the captain of each room. So you'd be a captain, if you came, and then you could have a couple of people you invite in your breakout room, and you basically build a collaboration with the 5 or 6 people in your room and come up with almost a collective lead magnet. So we're going to be writing a community article on the concept of fitness in a global setting. So health, not only health fitness, but financial fitness, self-love fit, all of these genres pouring together. So moving on to your areas of expertise, what is the value ladder?
The value ladder is the progression of how you are going to communicate and make offers to your customers. So you begin at the very bottom with something that is free. That's your lead magnet. And now we can begin a conversation that's more substantial than if you didn't want to give me your email address. And then the next thing is going to be that I'm going to offer you something that's inexpensive and actually turn you into a paying customer. And then I'm going to offer you something that is a little more than that. And so you ascend people up your value ladder. I mean, for you, with your collection of offerings, you have you have a bunch of things that are free that people can attend, but then you begin putting them into paid services. So you have some things that are less expensive than others, and then you have your full blown monthly SEO packages and web design and all those things that are higher end things. Those things are hard to sell right out of the gate until people have a relationship with you, which is why you use the value ladder, where you make them a customer by giving them something cheap, something inexpensive, and then they trust you that they paid for something and it was valuable, and then they'll buy something else from you.
Absolutely. And I was thinking today, with technology, you don't really want to give your credentials away to people you don't know. You don't want to give your streaming keys away, the keys to the castle away. So it's good to test people. Start off with something small, and then slowly put them into a bigger project. And going back to the value ladder, what's considered to be at the very bottom of that ladder?
That would be your free thing. It would be your lead magnet. This is the first thing that turns somebody into I didn't know you were watching me to now I know who you are because you're on my list.
Makes sense.
Qualified prospect.
And what is your opinion on conversion rate? Do you think that a good business owner should have a certain number of leads a week and a certain number of appointments, and those appointments convert to clients? Do you have a philosophy on that?
100%. So you should keep data on your conversion rates, because that way if you have a certain revenue goal, you can reverse engineer it. We actually had a show about that one time where we talked about having to do math and how and how so many people hate math. But when you do math and it has dollar signs as a unit of measure, most people like math a lot better. It's amazing. So yeah, you can reverse engineer from a revenue goal to know how many sales conversations you need to have, and back up from that how many qualified leads you have to have. And back up from that, how many followers you have to have, and then you can, knowing how many followers you want opting in to become qualified leads, you can actually manage your activities to know that you are continuously getting followers. So it enables you to know exactly what you should be doing.
Without a doubt, it makes a lot of sense. So only 2 minutes left. What's your number one law of marketing and business automation for the week?
Well, so since we were talking about lead magnets today, my number one law of marketing and business automation is going to be to get people on your list. Build your list. So you want to take people off the list of them being followers to being on a list where you can control that list and you can begin talking to them and then turn them into customers. So that's the number one law of marketing and business automation today, is put them on your list.
I love it. Well, I learned a lot from you today. As always, I'm always fired up about marketing and business automation. And what is the best place for people to reach you is through dynamoguru.com?
Yes. So if you go to www.dynamoguru.com, you will learn about everything about building a dynamo business, and you'll be able to get my special report on building your online presence if you go there.
Well, Gina, thank you so much for hosting the Laws of Marketing and being our resident expert on marketing and business automation. Everybody stay in touch with Gina. You can follow Gina on Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can also get a free report on how to build your online presence. Everybody, thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.